Trauma is one of the most difficult experiences in a human's life, and it happens more than we think. According to the National Center for PTSD, about 6 in every 10 men and 5 of every 10 women experience at least one trauma in their lives, with the majority experiencing it at a very young age. In this video, we'll see how Maisie Williams, the fierce Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, dealt with her trauma and how she learned from it. And while you might not entirely have the same traumatic experience, you can likely identify the pain that comes with it and apply some of the things she did to help you deal with yours. In a very emotional and revealing interview, Maisie talked about her childhood trauma caused by her father and how it affected her as an adult. According to her, her father indoctrinated her into a child cult that left her feeling joyless and wondering when she could feel the exact happiness that young people her age were known to experience. She was mistreated by her father, which made her depressed, filled with fear and dread. Again, how she dealt with her trauma was really personal to her and might not work for everyone. But it can be a lot of help if you're willing to try to apply it. First is rewiring your brain. Trauma is deeply rooted in the mind and thrives because you keep remembering it over and over again. It sometimes takes over your mind when you get triggered by something unrelated to your experience. But what if you can rewire your mind to see things a little differently? Maisie found out that the patterns in her brain would love to rewire themselves. Of course, it can be quite difficult because you might already be in a bad mood and find it difficult to trace it back. But once you can identify if your current mood is triggered by your trauma, you can help your brain recognize it so you can control how it affects you in that moment. According to Mr. van der Kolk, a Boston-based psychiatrist specializing in post-traumatic stress disorder, in the present, survivors relive their traumas in the forms of fragmented images, sounds, and emotions that the brain can't register as belonging to the past. Given that, the brain can reorganize information and adapt to different circumstances, making it possible to rewire it. Some of the best ways to do this include distracting your brain. When you find yourself in a mental loop, distracting your brain is one of the best ways to help you rewire it. You can do this by singing your favorite songs aloud, meditating, or doing anything that redirects your mind without causing stress. You could also try low-impact exercise. High-intensity exercise can put your body under stress since it can't really tell if you're running for fun or from a dangerous animal. So avoid high-intensity exercise and instead choose low-impact exercises like yoga, hiking, Pilates, or cycling. What may also help is talking to your younger self. This is a great option if you experienced trauma as a child and you keep remembering this traumatic event. Talking to your younger self is a way to offer them the love and attention that your younger self craved in the past. This can help rewire your brain and help you heal from your childhood trauma. Maisie's childhood trauma created a lot of confusion in her mind. It left her with a lot of questions about how a child should grow. According to her, she would see a lot of children express so much joy with their parents, and it would leave her wondering, when would she get the same kind of affection? In an interview, she says that in her mind, she goes back in time and trolls her 13-year-old self, saying, instead of digging really deep and going, what is real, just like whatever you feel that day is okay, and it can change the next day because that's just like life. Adding that,
you don't have to be beholden to anything that you've said or done. You can let it all go and rip up the rulebook.
In order to get over the pain from lack of love and mistreatment at such a young age, she chose a mindset of not taking things too personally. Trauma is considered deeply personal, and it's initially difficult to separate it from a person. However, according to Maisie, one of the things she did to get over her father's horrible behavior towards her was not to take his acts too personally. She explains this by saying, to be honest, I've been thinking about this a lot. It's not because of me that these bad things happened when I was a child. I thought it was. I thought there was something inherently wrong with me, that it could be anyone experiencing the pain. She was basically admitting that nothing was wrong with her and that those bad things that happened to her weren't her fault. It was her father's choice to be cruel to her, and she didn't do anything to deserve it. Most people with traumatic experiences tend to think it's their fault, and this makes their recovery very difficult. But once they're able to come to the conclusion that they're not the bad guy, but are truly the victim, they're able to make a lot of progress in their healing process. Understand that your traumatic experience is not your fault. and there was no way you could have wished it on yourself. Reflect on the abuser and try to understand it's their fault instead. They chose to act in that way. Nothing you did caused them to do that. This way, you're able to feel less personal pain. Maisie also talked about finding closure. Maisie was able to work through that part of her life and get to the point where she understood that defeating her trauma isn't just about her, but also about helping people work through their own journey, instead of just feeling the pain from the past. Finding closure allows you to think about the situation. Think about what was actually done to you and how it affected you. Then determine what it means to you, whether it makes you a much happier person or it would make you start trusting people again. You can also write down how you feel so you can get as many details out of it and reflect on it. Confronting your abuser, if it's safe, can also help, but if not, avoid this. It can also make things worse. In addition to that, look at the positive side of your life and be grateful for it. It's also a great idea to work through the process of finding closure with the help of a professional therapist, as some trauma can be too painful to go through by yourself. One of the most significant aspects that helped Maisie deal with her trauma was her ability of embracing her creative side. As an actress who gained fame from her role in Game of Thrones, a series that millions of people watched, many people made Arya Stark their favorite because of the hard life she was subjected to and her ability to come out of it strong. She's been able to captivate the hearts of many fans to date and found solace in acting because it made everything float away and made other people happy and brought fun to them, which was very new to her. This gave her a whole new identity and made it easier to see herself in a different light instead of the joyless child that her father made her.
There's like two parts of it. It was like how I felt, like within my body, like everything floated away, and like the way that it felt to move my body, or the way that it felt to like contort my voice, or like whatever. It just like that feeling when you're like can't stop laughing. It was just like incredible. And then there was the way that it made other people feel. And I guess like with acting, with dancing, it was very much about the way that it felt and not necessarily the way that it looked or like how other people would experience it. But with acting, it's like you get that sort of two-way thing. And I also saw the joy that it would bring other people. And like, I guess like you're like not disappointing. You're like making someone laugh, or you're making someone happy, or you're like, and that was like, you know.
You can rely on your creative side as well, but it doesn't necessarily have to be acting. It can be writing, crafting, painting, singing, dancing, or even reading. It could be anything you like. Find that creative side of you that you can naturally express, and this can automatically put your body in a relaxed state because you're doing the things you love and are enjoying the outcome. Next is, and this is a difficult one, speaking about your trauma. When Maisie was asked why she decided to come onto a show and speak about her childhood difficulties, she first described how difficult it is for a traumatized person to speak about it, saying, "Talking about it honestly feels like dancing at the edge of a massive hole." But despite that scary feeling, she added that her decision to speak about her experience was like freedom of expression and like making art, and that it really did change everything. And she wants other people to feel that.
You know, like freedom of expression and like making art really did change everything.
Despite how hard it can be to relive one's trauma by speaking about it, it's one of the best ways to overcome it, as it allows you to feel some level of freedom and leads you towards healing. It's also best to share your experience with professionals who know how to handle your situation, or speak to people who genuinely love you and care about your well-being. Are you willing to share your traumatic experience as a way of healing, or would you rather figure out some other way? Tell us in the comment section down below, and thank you for watching.